Flood victims in the Sojaman district of the Eastern region are pleading with government and individuals to support them financially, having lost their homes and economic lives. Communities upstream, including Kudekope, have been taken over by the flood, with affected houses collapsing in the process. Abu Mekbeji, Jijokope, among others downstream, are bearing the brunt of the Akosombo Dam spillage by the Volta River Authority. This came to light when Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Pius Enam Hajidi, donated to the victims. Tema correspondent Kwame Yanka has more.
Kudekope is one of the upstream fishing communities in the Sojaman district of the Eastern region impacted by the overflow of the Volta River from its source in Mali and Burkina Faso. Over the last 1 month, members of the affected communities have had their houses collapse and existing structures weakened as the flood water continues to wreak havoc. Having lost their economic lives to the situation, they say Sojaman District NADMO is yet to come to their aid despite visiting the area and assuring them. Headman at Kudekope, Kudi Kofi, disclosed this to Joy News when Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Pius Enam Hajide, donated to the victims. We have been hit by the flood and have received no support, despite NADMO and other officials being here. Those affected have no place to lay their heads. Unfortunately, some community members had their buildings collapsing upon receiving victims as the water continues to weaken structures here. We desperately need help. Sojaman NADMO came here empty-handed. Some victims are calling on government to urgently assist them. The water has destroyed our homes, and we find ourselves in a very difficult situation. All we are asking for is help. Government needs to come to our aid. The past few weeks have not been easy for us. The flood has rendered us homeless, destroying our belongings, and are forced to patch with other community members. We are on our knees pleading with NADMO to help us. Chief Executive Officer for National Youth Authority and Parliamentary hopeful in the Sojaman constituency, Pius Enam Hajide, after donating bags of rice, oil, and an amount of money to the victims, asked the district NADMO office to do more in helping the victims.
The Volta River has overflown its banks and it is entered into the community and it's destroyed a number of houses. And so I came to see for myself, to talk to the people, to sympathize with them and to empathize with them and support them. I also want to use this opportunity to appeal to the Disaster Management Organization, the NADMO. I also want to appeal to all well-wishers, philanthropists, people of goodwill to come to our aid in Kudekope, in Abume, in Peji, all in Jijokope, Budukrum. These are communities that have been very badly hit by the overflow of the Volta River, and that has led to the spillage of the Akosombo and the Kwong dams.
The team then visited Abume, a fishing community downstream where some houses have been affected due to spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Chief for the community, Togbi Dizonu II, says the spillage has negatively impacted lives in the area.
The spilling of the dam, in fact, it causes very bad situation to us. They are not going to work. We are fishermen in this community. So because of this, you can't go to anywhere to fish. So I'm pleading to the government to come to our aid so that how we are hungry, not going to any place. Even the money to give to our children to go to school too is very difficult for us.
According to some women at Abume, they are forced to buy anchovies, also known as 1,000 from Germany, in the Volta region to serve their customers in the Sojaman district and beyond. Due to the spillage for close to a month now, we can no longer fish. I came here with my pound to buy fish, but have to go back home disappointed. It's very scary at night, since we don't know when our buildings could be coming down. The water keeps weakening our houses. We have nowhere to go. We are pleading with government to assist us. We are even fortunate, as Pius Enam Hajide has us in his thoughts. We are really starving. The tour ended at Peji, where the spillage has had a better part of the fishing community. There, Pius Hajide met opinion leaders and later donated bags of rice, oil, and an amount of money. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy News.
Away from the floods, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, the Inspector General of Police, has defended the decision to prevent demonstrators from occupying the Julobi House. He explained the previous demonstrations in 2014 by Occupy Ghana was only a name but not directed at the Julobi House and therefore cannot serve as a precedent for accusing the police of suppressing protesters. Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, however, indicates the protesters were arrested after they attempted to take advantage of the proximity of the demonstration grounds to the Julobi House to invade the seat of government. The IGP was responding to questions on public safety from members of the Trades Union Congress during an engagement.
The fundamental thing that came out was the issue of consistency. And the consistency bit came from two fronts. My big brother who spoke first and my brother who also later anchored that point about the fact that 2014 there was an issue of Occupy Flaster House. We almost 9 years now. So if we are not careful, 9 years time, if we are not here, then there will be another meeting saying that, why are you stopping people for going to Jubilee House? Because 9 years ago, which is today, there was a demonstration called Occupy Jubilee House. So there is one thing having the intention and naming a demonstration by that name, and another thing, it happened at the location that you had it. 2014, nobody occupied the Jubilee House. It was in name. And they did a demonstration, and it was around Professor Madam Afua Salazar's Park. And some of them made an attempt to run to the Jubilee House, and they were stopped at Afrikiko Interchange. We have engagement, and we worked on it. And I think by that time, my brother, Lawyer Kofi Bente, was also even in the group. So we want that clarity to be there.
Dr. Akufo-Dampare has also taken on the Fix the Country's demonstrators or protesters for misleading the public with allegations of brutalities in its recent demonstration.
Let me give you one example as I conclude. Recently there was some demonstration that they said they want to demonstrate for 3 days or thereabout. We went through a process based on what they want us to do. We served them. They said they still want to demonstrate. Then you saw that the police went there, and then they said, no, what he's doing is unlawful gathering. So they picked about 48 people up just to discourage even people from showing up the mall. So that at the end of the day, we wait for the court to make a determination as to how the demonstration should go. As soon as they were arrested, they went around making all sort of allegations and all sort of noise and said, police has brutalized us, they have done this, I've done that, I've done that. I took it upon myself the following day to meet their leaders, some of them, and told them that if we have respected the process, and allow the court to tell us how we should go about, we won't get to where we are getting to. But because we have succeeded with all the propaganda and convincing the public that as if we are against you demonstrating, and also the lies about the fact that police has brutalized you, we will let you continue the demonstration, and we will let you finish with all the days that you want to do the demonstration. But we will challenge you to bring any evidence that speaks to the fact that you were brutalized. As I speak, after months of completing that demonstration to today, not a shred of evidence has been brought up to indicate that police have been brutalized. But until I told you this, and you being here, you will have had a mindset based on what they were scaling out there, that
The rifts between Old Vandals Association and the management of the University of Ghana continues to deepen as the former accuses the current management of a deliberate hatred against affiliates of the Commonwealth Hall. The two stakeholders of Ghana's premier university for some time now have been engaged in both verbal and legal tussles over some decisions of the management which the association describes as vindicative and unjust. Isaac Nketia Sapon, who is the national president of the Old Vandals Association, is accusing the management of the university for brutalities against students of the hall. The following report has more.
The management of the University of Ghana and all students of Commonwealth Hall have been at each other's neck over issues of students' accommodation, riots, and numerous court actions. According to the Old Vandals Association, affiliates of Commonwealth Hall have become victims of deliberate hatred emanating from the management of the university. Addressing a news conference on Wednesday, the national president of the Old Vandals Association, Isaac Nketia Sapon, blamed management for crippling the function of the university as a training ground for national leaders.
It must be echoed right here that the future of the University of Ghana, situated at Legon, the hill of knowledge, of which we are proud alumni, is threatened by the continuous promotion of tyranny, autocracy, administrative arbitrariness, which remain at the heart of its decision-making. The voices of students through NOS, SRC, JCR systems that hitherto served as incubation centers for national leaders have now been rendered moribund. As to what the motive of the current crop of leaders at the university are, only time will tell. That a deep-seated dislike for the Commonwealth Hall and vandals by the current University of Ghana administration has no basis.
He says the perceived rivalry between affiliates of Commonwealth and Mensa Saba halls is untrue, insisting that the two halls are best of friends.
There is a misconception that we need to correct using this medium. And we are talking about the so-called Mensa Saba and the Vandal City rivalry. Vandals of the Commonwealth Hall and Vikings of the Mensa Saba Hall are the best of friends on campus. This notwithstanding, we also know that occasionally a misunderstanding may crop up which may result in conflict. As we speak, members of these two halls are not at loggerheads, as the University Authority may want us to believe. Such narratives by the university are just towards smoke screens which only serve as long paths for unleashing a well-rehearsed agenda against student activism and progressive developments among students of the university. Late last year, 17 innocent students of the hall were arrested and brutalized by the police at the invitation of the university administration, whilst they tried to enter the hall following the court order I spoke about earlier. These students were quickly put before the court by the police and they were remanded for 6 days. Regrettably, the police failed to prosecute the innocent students after the court had given them several opportunities. The father of one of the students collapsed upon hearing of what his child had been put through by the police. He died eventually.
Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Nana Abba Apia Amfo, says the Old Vandals Association cannot determine for the university authorities on how the various halls should be managed.
I do not think that you come to the university for 3, 4, even 5 years and you resided in a particular hall, and after you have left the university and you are working, out there in your companies, you would want to basically dictate how the university management manages these halls. That should be left for university management. If you have ideas, suggestions, you can pass them on.
The two stakeholders of the university are currently in court seeking the intervention of the law court in addressing their differences.
Various businesses, including one of Ghana's leading oil palm companies, Benso Oil Palm Plantation, they're going through a tough time due to the terrible nature of roads in the enclave. The deteriorating Kejebril-Mpoho Benso Road has worsened their operations. What was once an economic lifeline has now become a stifling nightmare. Samuel Kojo has been following this for Joy News.
Year after year, the government has looked on for the total deterioration of the Kejebril-Benso Road. This road, used to facilitate the quick transportation of semi-finished goods from the Benso Oil Palm Plantation, BOP, to their client in Tema. But today, the road has become a major headache to the company, almost grounding their operations.
For the past 2 weeks, we've not sent even a drop of CPO to our refinery in Tema. We had about 12 tankers parked here in our yard as we speak, just waiting for an improvement in the condition of the road so we can send them. We tried one this afternoon and the results has not been quite encouraging.
100 meters distance could take about 3 minutes with trucks wobbling on the deteriorated road. BOP's Estate and Plantation Manager Kwesi Ba Ofori spoke about the dire consequences of the bad road on the company.
So once the road is in this condition, we are not able to send our crude palm oil to our refinery in Tema. And it gets to the point that our tanks have to be full and we cannot continue with production. We have to shut down production. And mind you, this plantation employs over 2,000 employees and they are all accommodated on this site. They all live in the plantation, in the estate, so the impact is quite dire. And we are talking about over thousands of farmers who also supply our mill, and once the mill is full of CPO, we will not be able to keep up with the production. And all these farmers will eventually be impacted.
BOP is not the only company feeling the pinch. Residents of the area also feel the pain of bumping gullies. Alfred has been driving on this road for 2 years. We met him repairing his broken down vehicle along the road.
This road doesn't help us at all. We suffer a lot on it. When you work for 3 days, you have to take everything you got to do maintenance. So are we progressing or retrogressing? This road is terrible. It is not helping us at all.
Alfred says vehicular breakdowns leave holes in his finances, with clients also refusing to pay more for transportation due to the current economic squeeze. The driving business is no longer lucrative.
Taxis, what 30 cedis,
As soon as it rains, taxis take 30 cedis. Meanwhile, if the road was good, I'm not sure they would even charge 10 cedis. The residents here who don't have cash suffer. So imagine what will happen if there is someone who needs urgent medical attention. We plead with government to come and construct this road for us.
Several of the trucks which load BOP's semi-finished product to their client in Tema are grounded in the company for weeks because of the poor nature of the road. Driver Abdullahi Moro is frustrated.
Because of too much all the time. We spend too much time when we come here because of the poor nature of the road, and it often rains in this place too. If the company grader doesn't pull you from this place to Kejebro, for you to continue, you can't go. Even with that, we still suffer.
All the time, no. To him, the situation is affecting the finances of the drivers.
A financial problem. It is only when you are able to transport the products to Tema that you get your bonus. If you are not able to go, you can't get it. So it affects our finances.
The estate and plantation manager for the Benso Oil Palm Plantation, Kwesi Ba Ofori, says the nature of the road is having a telling impact on the operations and their contribution to the local economy.
I mean, the impact is impact on even the Ghana Stock Exchange. We are quite a big company. We are making a lot of impacts in the lives of the communities within which we operate. Just last year, we bought palm fruits, to the tune of over 40 million Ghana cedis from farmers. This year, as of September, we've bought over 62 million Ghana cedis. Yes, that is the kind of amount of money we are pouring in the communities. And once our product is not able to go to its final destination, eventually, if we are not able to send it to its final destination, then we cannot also continue buying from the farmers. And, you know, the farmers will eventually also suffer losses.
Residents and Bob are all calling on government to expedite road construction.
Our wish is that the government takes it up, and we know the government is challenged with a lot of roads. There are a lot of road networks that he has to do. He's doing his best, but we think that looking at the economic potential of this company in these districts, I think it will be good if they come in to help.
For Joy News, I am Samuel Kojobrace, Benso, Western Region.
Let's now cross over for an engagement by the IGP with the Electoral Commission, the NPP Election Committee, and representatives of flagbearer aspirants ahead of the November 4 conference.
Again, also my colleagues from the Inky fraternity, and knowing that Sunday is Saturday, I think Sunday is our day, we want to wish all of you well as we prepare towards the Ghana Journalists Association's awards period. So we all will be there, we are with you in spirit, and we'll keep praying for you to have a successful event. Today, we are here to take another step to deepen our democratic practices. This time around, in connection with the internal elections of the New Patriotic Party. We've worked with the party for nearly 2 years now in its quest to position its leaders from all the levels, constituency, regional, national, and now in the domain of working towards electing a presidential candidate. The first leg will work together, and in August, we were able to have a successful first leg of that exercise. And we have November 4th ahead of us for the final leg of that exercise. And we look forward also to early next year to work with you as you work towards selecting your parliamentary candidate. We've done the same for the other major political party, the NDC, and it has been successful all at this level. And we want to use this opportunity to thank all the political parties, and today the NPP in particular, for cooperation extended to us, for us to create a platform
in an engaged faction to work together to deepen our democracy. That is all what we require for Ghana to continue to be a beacon of hope in a sub-region and in the African continent and beyond, and for people to continue also to learn from us as we continue to make this country great and strong. Having said that, we want to assure you that on the 4th, we are going to give you an overdose of security, and it will be excellent. It will be awesome. All what we require from you is to support us for each and every one of us to play his or its role. And then with that, we'll be able to ensure that the police will do their work, the EC will do their work, and all the people who will be voting across the country will also come out freely, willingly to vote. And all the agents will also do what they're supposed to do for all of us to finish that process and for all of us to be winners at the level of the party, at the level of the country, and also at the level of the continent. It is on this note that we want to, on behalf of my colleagues, to once again welcome you and for us to have this fruitful discussion. And thereafter, we'll take it forward. And we know it will be successful. So let's work together towards that. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, IG. It's now the turn of the Deputy Chairman in charge of operations at the Electoral Commission, Mr. Samuel Tete, to give us his remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And may I also, on behalf of the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jean Mesa, and my colleague, Deputy Chairman in charge of Corporate Services, Dr. Bosman, and the staff with me, bring you warm greetings from the Commission. We know that this is an important election for not only the NPP, but also with the EC and the nation as a whole. The conduct of the election solely rests with the Electoral Commission, and for that matter, there should be a series of engagements, which this meeting is one of it. We need to prepare adequately and then make sure that the election is successfully conducted. We have issues like recruitment of officials for the elections, issues like printing of ballots, issues relating to agents who will be represented at all the polling stations, and so many other issues. So far, the engagement with the security services as well as the elections committee of the NPP has actually gone on well, and we are looking forward to have the final selection of a presidential candidate on the 4th of November. We are almost close to the date, and the Commission is not leaving any stone unturned. We are doing all what we could to make the election successful. We also plead with other stakeholders. We know how the police has actually been working. We know how the elections committee has also been working very hard. We plead with all stakeholders to join the Commission to have a very successful elections come November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel Tete. I now have the singular honor to invite the former Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, to give us some comments. Shall we please clap for Prof one more time? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam. Our respected IGP, distinguished senior members of our police force, members of the EC, particularly Mr. Tete, and our well-known doctor, who is being the main man of the operational issues, I wish to introduce to you my team, a very, very strong team. We've been working morning, noon, and night. We have Mr. Abankwa Ebwa, Mr. William Yamwa, Madam Rita Sobaere, Lawyer Philip Nkrumah, Mr. Evans Nimakun, Fuya Chichiwa Miss. Absent are our Honorable Afinyo Makin, Professor Frolu, who are on some other engagements on this occasion. We have also members of our own party who are representatives of the various contestants in our election. That is Dr. Baumia, Mr. Ejipon, Dr. Akutu Free, and Mr. Anai Nimo. Present also at the moment is the General Secretary of our party, who has joined us for this meeting. And that tells all of us the importance we attach to the occasion ahead of us. We want to say without any equivocation that this process is going to belong to the EC and the police. It is an ordinary election, an election to elect a flag bearer for the NPP. And we intend that everything must go according to law. If we were capable of security, we would have provided it ourselves. So we know the appropriate authority is the Ghana police. It is not just an internal event, for which matter it is our own thing to do. In fact, even a family meeting, if you have it and you don't go according to law and you start fighting, very soon police will have to come. So nothing is beyond the parameters of the police when it borders upon the peace and security of our country. It is also a fact that the Electoral Commission has been set up as an independent institution whose job basically is to carry out elections in our country. So they must know all the dynamics of elections. For that matter, we are authorizing you as a party to take absolute control of all the processes that you regulate during a normal election in this republic. We have made a number of guidelines. It's a matter of common consent. In fact, we've worked out the dynamics in such a way that Dr. Bosman and co, they want to know that we also have our own IPAC, and we call it Intra-Party Advisory Committee. This time not inter-party, but intra-party. And we are working together. So there's nothing new to any of the gentlemen who are seated here now representing the relevant candidates in our election. We are saying this to assure you that the regulations which they have all signed to and which we are going to make available to the police, already available to the EC, is going to be the blueprint of the process. Anyone who disregards this on that day should be dealt with according to law. We want to establish that this country is a lawful nation. And for that matter in particular, the NPP is an advanced party. We claim to be the fathers and mothers of democracy in Ghana, and we will always continue to do so. Therefore, we must act in a manner that is in conformity with the relevant claims that we make. We therefore urge you to ensure that you do your work accordingly. There will be no-go areas in this process. Ghana is one republic and belongs to all of us. It is not even a federal country nor a confederation. Therefore, our IGP has jurisdiction over every single police in every corner. So does the Electoral Commission, so far as electoral matters are concerned. Our General Secretary is here to reinforce the fact that this is the approach of the party. And we want to lead the way so that in future, in political party elections, we will not have any mayhems and unnecessary troubles. So as we come to discuss the dynamics, our main point is that, ladies and gentlemen, police, EC, we urge you to do your work on that day. No minister, no official, no person whatsoever has any jurisdiction over you, nor myself, nor members of our commission. Anything that is illegal is illegal. You are in charge. And we will say this openly and publicly. And at the end of it, our party, the NPP, will be the winner, and Ghana will be the winner, and any foreigner who stands aside or apart will say, oh, these are civilized people. We thank you very much.
Former Speaker of Parliament, Aaron Michael Quay, who is also a member of the NPP Vetting Committee, pledging to ensure peaceful conference at the NPP Presidential Conference as they gear up for its delegates conference to elect a flag bearer for the NPP for the 2024 elections. Earlier, we heard from the IGP and the EC all asking for cooperation to be able to deliver a good job. Currently, there's a General Secretary of the NPP making his remarks. Let's take you back there.
And on that day, it does not matter whether the person is in government, whether the person is a national chairman or general secretary. All of us are going to follow the dictates as indicated by the Electoral Commission and the Ghana Police Service. On 26th of August, the respective institution, the Ghana Police Service and the Electoral Commission, did a woman's job. And we are looking forward to even better what happened on August 26th. I must admit that there were certain bit of infractions on 26th of August. And we are hoping that come November 4th, these things will not happen. So Mr. IGP and your team, we have absolute support of the party. On that day, look at it without fear or favor and act and do your work as you professionally always do. You have our full support of the party and the Electoral Commission likewise. Thank you very much, and we are wishing for a successful day.
And that was Justin Kodia, his NPP General Secretary, also assuring the Electoral Commission and the IGP of its preparedness to ensure there's a violence-free delegates conference. Definitely, he admits there are higher stakes in the upcoming delegates conference, but he says that the party will do its best to ensure that it ends smoothly. And of course, it's on the November 4, the NPP getting ready to elect its flag bearer for the 2024 elections. We'll be bringing you more from this engagement with the NPP and the Electoral Commission. We also had the IGP actually congratulating the GJA and also wishing it well for its upcoming awards ceremony. Let's get on to other stories. As death tolls in the Israel-Hamas war soars and calls for a ceasefire and need for humanitarian support increases, Joy News has been engaging envoys of the two warring factions in Ghana, the ambassadors of Palestine and Israel, on the development. Speaking on the Pulse show with Blaise Soga yesterday, the Palestinian ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Abdel Fattah Ahmed Khalil al-Satari, said there is a need for Israel to be impressed upon to cease fire. He explained that children and women are being heavily attacked and massed up.
People like to say that Hamas attacked Israel on that day. Because of that, Israel attacked Palestine. The conflict did not start in the 7th of October. The conflict started when Israel started to occupy my people and my country and our lands. From 1967 to now, 100,000 from my people killed by the Israelis. And this is not the first war, as your friend said, against Gaza. You know, in 2014, Israel killed more than 2,650 from my people. And 5 of them was children. I cannot understand. Those children attacked Israel with the rockets. The children entered the border and attacked the Israeli soldiers and the settlers inside Israel. In that war 2012, the Israelis killed more than 700 from my people. And Israel attacked Gaza, not Gaza attacked Israel. In the war 2012, the Israelis killed more than 700 from my people. In the war 2014, they killed more than 2,000 people, and they destroyed more than 100,000 houses to the people. So this conflict did not start in the 7th of October, and we should talk only if we want to understand what's happening in Palestine. The conflict not between Hamas and between Israel. Maybe some people like to say it like this, but the conflict between all the Palestinian people, all the Palestinian people in the West Bank, in Gaza, the people who's lived, Israel transferred them from their housing from 1948 and 1967, and they cannot back to their housing. Israel think in that time that my people, the older will forget Palestine as their state, and the older, will die, and the young boys will forget their country. This did not happen at all and will not happen, because the father teaches their children everything, the history about Palestine and the geography about Palestine.
On her part, the Israeli ambassador to Ghana, Shlomit Sofa, speaking to Evans Mens on PM Express, said there's currently no room for peace talks until Israel has dealt with the threats to its people, suggesting Iran has a hand in the activities at the Gaza Strip.
I didn't hear anyone talking about, with the Palestinian representative, over 220 hostages taken to the Gaza Strip, including a 6-month-old baby. What kind of monster will snatch babies from their beds and hold them? We don't know where, there's no telling of their well-being. They have no connection to their families, there's no connection to the Red Cross. We need to see the international community focusing on, you're talking about humanitarian issues. We want to see how the rights of the Israelis being held, and not just Israelis, by the way, also a couple of dozens of foreigners, held. We've seen pictures of these children held in cages.
That may be the case, and
this is not the time to talk about peace.
It's not the time to talk about peace.
It is not the time to talk about peace, because if you stop now, Israel, if you stop us and do not enable Israel to destroy Hamas capabilities, the only thing that you'll be doing is to zero the timer for the next escalation. There is no peace, there's no reconciliation, there's no settlement with this entity that is about destroying a state. It's not about the Palestinian
You said that
rights.
this is not the time to talk about peace. The first attempt to get a UN resolution was to have a humanitarian pause. Ghana abstained in that vote. Give me your reaction to that.
We believe that Ghana is reviewing very carefully. I'm not here to talk on behalf of Ghana, but I understand that Ghana is reviewing very carefully each and every draft resolution, and they're making very careful decisions about that will demonstrate best the interests of Ghana. And again, I am the representative of Israel, so it.
We'll take a break on Joy NewsDesk. When we return, there's business.
Good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Director General of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Charles Kweku, is calling on civil aviation authorities within the African sub-region to adopt modern air traffic safety on the back of the rapid growth of air transport. The authority, in collaboration with the International Civil Aviation Organization, is holding a workshop in Accra intended at ensuring adequate air safety. Here's more in this report.
The workshop brought together players within the aviation regulation space across the African continent. Engineer Charles Kweku urged the players within the aviation industry to work together to develop and implement standards, procedures and technology that meets the objectives of safety.
The role of aviation authorities, air traffic management agencies and industry stakeholders is clear. We must ensure reliable and secure assignment of SSR Mode S addresses and IICOs. We must work together to develop and implement standards, procedures, and technologies that meet these objectives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us remember that aviation is not just about technology and regulations. It is also about people. It is about the people and about the passengers who trust us to get them safely to their destinations. The pilots and the air traffic controllers who navigate our skies. The engineers who ensure availability of our equipment, and the countless professionals who ensure that aviation remains the safest mode of transportation.
Joyce Asante, Director of Air Traffic Safety Engineering at the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, said it is necessary for all civil aviation authorities to embrace modern technology within the air transport space to ensure safety at all times.
Traditionally, conventional radars have been useful in providing very important information to our air traffic management systems. Radars typically provide vital information about aircrafts, such as their identity, the altitude at which they are flying, their speeds, bearings, as well as other relevant information. This information provides what we typically refer to as situational awareness to the air traffic controller when separating aircraft.
Now, cocoa farmers have been advised to desist from the use of weedicides and unapproved agrochemicals which contaminate cocoa beans and render them unwholesome for human consumption. Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Edu, who was in the Bono Ahafo region on a tour of the cocoa health and extension zone, said these weedicides contain a dangerous residue called 24D, which could trigger the rejection of Ghana's cocoa beans on the international market. Correspondent Anas Abed has more.
The visit by the Chief Executive Officer of the Cocoa Board, Joseph Edu, to the Techiman area forms part of his 3-day tour of the Bono Ahafo Cocoa Health and Extension Zone to interact with farmers as well as inspect ongoing productivity enhancement programs. The CEO, who was accompanied by key management and technical team of the Cocoa Board, disclosed to Joy News that the main purpose of the visit is to help boost the productivity of farmers, which would in turn better their lives as farmers.
This year it has rained, but then the flowers are not coming. So we want to come and then interact with them and also educate the farmers as to what to do. They can recover. What we are looking for is that the farmers should be able to increase productivity from the current 3 to 6 bags. We expect them to do 20 bags per acre. And you can see that, after the message, many of these farmers are showing that, confidence that they will be able to do it.
He was, however, quick to admonish cocoa farmers to desist from using weedicides, which, according to him, causes havoc to the soil as well as affect the quality of Ghana's cocoa beans when used excessively.
In effect, the weedicide destroy the soil and hinder decomposition. So you realize that most of the farms are being destroyed, the soils are being destroyed just because of the use of weedicide. And then the weedicide had 2,4-D. 2,4-D is a chemical which shouldn't appear in any cocoa bean. But when they use weedicide, the cocoa tree is so sensitive that it's able to absorb some of these chemicals, like the 2,4-D.
And that's all for this segment. The news continues after the break.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin this morning. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjournline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.